All right, let's talk about building your own social media platform, and specifically the Linkspreed advantage. Look, if you're a creator, we're going to explore a really game-changing idea here. What if you stopped, just renting space on other social platforms and actually built your own? We're going to break down exactly what that means and how it's even possible.
So, let me just kick this off with a question, because I have a feeling this is going to hit home for a lot of you. Are you just tired of fighting the algorithm? You know that feeling, right? You create this amazing piece of content, you pour your heart into it, and then, poof, it gets buried by some invisible, constantly changing set of rules. It's just a constant uphill battle, isn't it?
And honestly, that's just a tip of the iceberg. These are the kinds of frustrations we hear about all the time. You've got these unpredictable algorithms that basically feel like a lottery. You're forced to share your ad revenue with the platform, you're stuck being governed by policies you had absolutely no say in, and then there's the big one, the one that keeps people up at night. What happens if the platform you built your entire audience on just changes or disappears? You could literally lose everything overnight.
But what if there was a completely different way to do things? Well, that brings us right to our first big idea here, having a platform of your very own. And look, this is about way more than just fixing those frustrations we just talked about. This is about joining a movement towards true, genuine creator ownership.
Yeah, we're really talking about a whole new era for creators. Think about it like this. Web 2 is all about renting space on these giant platforms. But now, there's this thing people are starting to call the Web4 Community movement, and it's all about this massive, fundamental shift. It's about owning your own digital home, instead of just being a tenant on someone else's land.
And a shift this big gives rise to a whole new identity. I mean, forget just being a creator or an influencer. The new term that's popping up is tribe maker. And a tribe maker is someone who does more than just post content. They build an entire ecosystem around their work. They own the audience, they own the content, and this is the crucial part, they own all the profits.
Okay, so that sounds great, right? But how do you actually become a tribe maker? Well, it really boils down to three key things: control, data, and cash. So let's dive into how a platform like Linkspreed puts you firmly in charge of all three.
And the way to get there is actually broken down into three surprisingly simple steps. First up, a zero-code instant launch. Yep, you heard that right. Second, you finally get to own your audience and all their data. And third, you get the ability to monetize your community from day one. The whole thing is designed to be as straightforward as possible. All right, let's talk about step one, because for a lot of people, this is the biggest hurdle. I mean, the whole idea of building a site or an app, it just sounds super intimidating, doesn't it? It sounds like you'd need a whole team of coders. But that barrier, it's completely gone here. We are literally talking about a launch that you can pull off in a single afternoon. That way, you can get back to focusing on what you actually love doing, which is creating your content. Now let's get to step two, and this is where you really see the difference. On the traditional platforms, your communication is always filtered. It's like you're shouting into a void and just hoping the algorithm decides to deliver your message. But on your own platform, it's a direct line to your audience, no middleman. And it's the same story with data. Instead of getting these vague, generalized metrics, you get full analytics, deep insights into what your community actually cares about.
And all of that, the direct communication, the deep data, it leads straight into step three, monetization. Because you have that direct connection, you can plug in income tools right from the get-go. I mean, think about it. You could set up tiered subscriptions, a bronze, silver, and gold level with different perks for each. Or you could create exclusive content feeds just for your paying members. You can even sell digital products, things like courses or event tickets, directly to your biggest fans with no one else taking a cut.
Okay, but owning your own platform, it's not just about control and cash, as important as those are. The real magic, the thing that makes it all worthwhile, is building a truly thriving community. So let's take a look at the features that are specifically designed to make that connection happen. So let's pop the hood and look at the tool set here. First, you've got your activity feeds. These feel super familiar and intuitive, for anyone who's ever used social media. Then you've got member profiles. And this is key. It's so your audience can connect with each other. You can also spin up private groups for specific topics, which is awesome for high-value engagement. And you can even add gamification, things like points, badges, and leaderboards to boost retention and keep people coming back day after day. It's basically the whole social network experience, but it's all yours, tailored to your world.
And really, that's the whole point of all those features. The real goal here is to foster that peer-to-peer connection. This is what transforms your space from just a simple fan to creator broadcast channel into a genuine living community where people are actually building relationships with each other. That is what creates real, lasting staying power.
So let's bring all this back together. When you combine these tools with this whole philosophy, you're making a massive shift. You become the tribe maker. You're not just a creator anymore. You are an ecosystem architect.
Here's maybe the simplest way to think about it. Linkspreed provides the engine. It handles all the complex, nitty-gritty technical stuff. The infrastructure, the software features, the payment processing, all of that. Your job? You provide the brand, the vision, and the amazing content that makes your community come alive.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just sums this up perfectly. It's all about turning the hugely complex, kind of scary task of building social media into the simple, manageable process of setting up a profitable community space. It's really all about empowerment and making things simple. So I want to leave you with this one final question to think about. If you had all the tools, if you had total control, and you had a direct, unfiltered connection to your audience with no algorithms or gatekeepers standing in your way, what kind of world would you build?